Hello, my people. Thank you for joining us once again. This is Buzznan. So today, again, we'll be looking at getting settled, and thriving, if I should put it in that way, in the workplace. So you've moved to a new country, let's say for example Canada. You've gotten a job. Then what next? They always say that where growth stops, the case begins. So there's nothing like saying, I want to stay at the level where I am. You are either being productive or you are not being productive. And you may think that you are being productive, but are you being productive enough? That's a big question. I worked somewhere where when I got in, the first thing I told my boss, and again, not saying anything negative. I know Canada is not like what we're used to, especially back in Africa. Your boss can shout on you or can give you direct feedback if he feels that you're not doing something right. Here, people won't say anything until they let you go. And that's when you wonder, if I was doing something wrong, why didn't you tell me? So the first thing I told my boss when I was starting a new job, and I always do it, is to tell them to always give me feedback immediately. They feel that I need to correct something, and I don't mind if it's positive or negative. But I told him, don't wait till my review or till the end of the year before you say you are not doing these things well. By then you are rating me, and there's nothing I can correct. So I advise people to always don't shy away from that. Tell them, let them know that you want feedback as soon as possible. And if it's bad or negative, try to work on it. Don't take it personal. Uh, the more you take it personal, the more it comes back to haunt you because you won't make changes. But then again, you want to grow. Either you want to grow by being productive and getting pay rise, or getting maybe to the next level, supervisor level, a managerial level. And again, like I always say, people shouldn't settle for less. I've seen friends who came in and within months, they are already in that supervisory level because they adapted themselves, they put in what is necessary and they're there already. And I will be sharing 3 tips. Is I mean, these are not limited, to these tips, but then they are just strong enough for me and they work well anyway. So what do we need to thrive, to grow, and to rise, within an organization? Based on my experience in the past and working here in Canada, one of them, one of the most important is to think like a leader. Think like a leader. One of my boss, back in Nigeria, we used to say, back then we would joke, we would say, you dress well, I like the way you dress, and I like the fact that you dress like where you are going, not where you are. That means maybe you're dressing like management, spending a lot of money on dressing like a management staff, but it shows that you have a goal of where you are going. And for me to thrive, you also have to walk like where you are going, not where you are. I see a lot of people that will come into workplace and want to do the minimum. Yeah, minimum will get you the pay, will get you what they promise you. But things like good reviews, things like maybe salary increase, things like getting promotions, getting to a management level wasn't promised. It's based on performance. And how can we think as a leader when we don't see things like, just let me do my work? Like, based on my experience here, I want to work like, not pushing things back like this is not my work. And I can say, Maybe it's not what I should be doing, I would do it now, but maybe for some, in the future, this is the path I should go. That's the way to think like a leader. Um, you know, um, when there are issues, not to feel like I don't have to be involved. I see people shy away a lot, from my experience, from taking responsibilities. Question is that some responsibilities may hurt you. You may take more and it may come biting you. But the truth is that if there's no risk, there's no reward. And I'd rather take the risk and get the reward, than just staying at that neutral or at that mid level. So again, think like a leader because you want to think of where you are going, not where you are at. Are you providing solutions to problems? Are you stepping out when people are not stepping out? That is very important, again, in this part of the world. One that is connected to that, which is the second one, is again to work harder than the next person beside you. And I love that my own manager, we always say something, a very hardworking person, someone that I respect so much, But I have to work. I knew where I was coming from. I need to put in a lot of hard work. I need to work harder than the next person beside me. Because again, when they put us side by side, what is the value, what is the result, that I'm putting, forward. And again, it's talking about hard work relative to, our results. A lot of people run around without producing results. That's not the kind of hard work that I'm, talking about. Not just showing that you can work hard, but that you are working hard to produce results. Nobody, nobody, I tell you, no one will push away results. No management will push away if you are producing results. So that's one thing that we need to. How can you work harder than the next person beside you? And I will give you an example. I had opportunity to work somewhere, and normally, all of us finish work at 4 p.m., 4:30, at 5 p.m., and we go home. And on this particular day, there was an issue that we need to fix and deploy that day. And it was 4 p.m. and everybody was going home. And I said I would wait back, to ensure that, I worked on it. And people said, no, just go home, you don't have to do this. And I said, well, if we don't do it, then the business can't start working tomorrow. That means it will impact the business. And they said, okay, we can live by it, we work around it. I said, well, it takes nothing for me to stay back to work on it. And I can't forget that day because it was normal to me. Where I was coming from back in Nigeria, I would do way more. I stayed back. Um, there were a lot of thank you emails I got. There were a lot of incentives I got for staying back. The next morning, I got emails from directors and things like that, appreciating what I did. I just stayed back for like 2 hours or 3 hours. But what it brought to me was far more than that. And I can do that many times, a lot of times. And I'm not saying we have to do that, but I'm just saying that what are you doing that the next person is not doing? What will make you reliable? The last one would be communication skills, communications and interpersonal skills, something something I keep working on myself, and if I can look back, if I can work more on something, is that part of, having great communication skill in the workplace, having able to make connections. Again, I always say don't stay back and say this is who I am. I just want to be in one corner. I don't want to have relationship with people. Again, if you want to grow, this will be key, especially if you want to go to management level where you have to influence things, where you have to you have a lot of meetings, you have to, get people's buy-in, your relationship management skill, your communication skills, your interpersonal skills, will go a long way. These three things, can work magic. But like I said, they are not limited to these three things. We will be sharing more, but you can also share your feedback, your experience, what you think. But like I said, moving to a new country may be hard. Don't settle for less. Always reach for the greater heights. Thank you again for watching. Till we'll see you again. Like I always say, keep doing great things.